I would like to share with you today one of Dr. Ian Stevenson's cases from Cases of the Reincarnation Type, 10 cases in India. We have Sunil Saxena, who was born to a couple who report that he began saying the word Bhutan for no apparent reason. They did have some dead family members in Bhutan, but most of the people related to that family visited them in their hometown now. He also mentioned a Master Sahib and that he founded a school. So these were bold claims for a young man to be making. Additionally, he showed some affinities that others didn't, like he had religious affinities that no one in the house did. He preferred milk to tea for no apparent reason. And as soon as he started speaking to a landlord about it when they moved, this man was able to figure out that he meant Seth Krishna. Now, Seth Krishna was a rather important man in town, but he was also naming this school to kind of cover his tarnished reputation. He had taken on a fourth wife, and things weren't going so great at the time. Back to Sunil, he continued to pester his parents to go to Bhutan, and they were accompanied by witnesses who bore their accounts to Ian in the book. He records that. Sunil remembered his name to be Kishan, which is the shortened familiar version of Krishna. When riding in a rickshaw past the school, he demanded they stop. "This is my college." This is from witnesses who were in that rickshaw. Some interesting things that would have been harder for him to have just guessed from hearing people was that he owned a cinema house. Seth Krishna did in fact erect a building for cinema. However, he was persuaded not to open it for that purpose. So in the community, they wouldn't have known that. And this was many years later. He also noted that the signboard in front of the school used to have Seth Krishna's name on it, doesn't now. Well, that would be not such a big deal because, yes, the name had been eroded to illegible faintness. However, Sunil was not even able to read yet. He was 4. So, he also, when he got to the house, recognized an old Muslim servant named Munshi. And this man was with Seth Krishna when he died. On his death, we should note that he really believed that his fourth wife had poisoned him. And the boy mentioned a lot of paranoid notions about drinks around her. And just in general, don't get married because you could get poisoned. Ian wasn't able to discern anything to that except he had been taking something for an aphrodisiac. So I don't know if that somehow got mixed up to this kid. However, maybe there's some more to it, that we don't know the entire story of this man's death. The other things he did that were really interesting is he recognized Seth's best friend in a crowd of people that had come to visit. And he was just all over the guy. He wanted him to come home with him, called him Pathakshi, which must be like another nice form of Pathak. And yes, he was the one that he performed the puja ceremony in front of, which is a religious ceremony before eating. And the guy recognized it. Furthermore, he recognized brother-in-law and sister, and he even used the correct term of Jija for the sister's husband. Furthermore, and lastly, which I thought was really funny because I hated secondhand smoke as a kid, this kid was all about wanting to smoke at certain points and cried, "No one ever offers me the hookah." So some habits die hard, even from other lives. But the interesting thing about him is that, yes, he was sort of fancy and upstanding, but when Mr. Ian gets deeper into his life, he realizes that the reason he named the school was to help that reputation out, and that if someone was trying to emulate a rich man, that they could have picked an untarnished character, but this one definitely had some character.